Hey, what's going on, Lorain County High School football fans? Welcome back to another episode of The Blitz, your weekly Lorain County High School football chat. I'm your host, Rocco Nushi. Behind the camera, as always, the one and only Kristen Bauer. And here we are heading into Week 9, getting down to the nitty-gritty tail end of the regular season. Obviously, the postseason right around the corner, but a big Week 8 to recap before I talk about what's coming up this Friday night in Week 9 in the Lorain County High School football scene. So again, let's go back to Week 8, and we got to start off over in Vermilion, where the Sailors knocked off Huron for the first time since 1966. Yeah, you heard that right. Vermilion beating Huron for the first time since 1966. I thought when Sailor head coach Bill DeFucci texted me and said, hey, we haven't beat these guys since 1966, I thought it was a typo. I thought he meant 1996. No, it was 1966, the last time the Sailors beat the Huron Tigers, and they did so this past Friday night, 13-10. Sailor kicker Zeke Dunn hitting the game-winning field goal with less than 10 seconds to play in that one. The defense would hold the Tigers after that, and again, Vermilion prevails with a 13-10 win. Now, what's really crazy about Zeke Dunn hitting that game-winning field goal is that coming into that game, he hadn't attempted a field goal all season long. He ended up trying 3 of them in that win over Huron. He made 2 of them, including, as I said, that game winner. So big shout out to Zeke Dunn. Sailors are 7-1 for the first time since 1997. They're now 3-0 in the SBC Bay Conference. And I got to shout out the 2 running backs, the stars of the night. Evan Coons, he had 117 yards for the Sailors on the ground. Cohen Mooney complimented him with 79. How about in the Lorain County League? Columbia knocks off undefeated Clearview. They hand the Clippers their first loss of the season. 22-18 was the final score there. So now if you take a look at the top of those Lorain County League standings, Keystone, Columbia, Clearview, all right there with 1 loss in the conference. Now Keystone and Clearview will play on Tuesday, October 22nd. That was the rescheduled game from the cancellation earlier this season, so keep your eyes out on that. But got to shout out Jimmy Stoffe for the Raiders. He led them with 87 rushing yards in that win over Clearview. Played some defense again for the first time since the start of the year. Guys going down with injuries and just, guys needing to step up in different roles. So Stoffe back on defense. He had a huge night there as well. Came through with the game-ending sack for Columbia. So big shout out to Jimmy Stoffe doing it on both sides of the ball for the Raiders. Over in the SWC, Olmsted Falls hands Avon Lake their first conference loss. It took not 1 but 2 overtimes to do it. 43-37 was the final score there. A heartbreaker for the Shoremen. They were up by 10, 30-20 at one point in that fourth quarter, but Olmsted Falls made enough plays to come back and get that double overtime win. Bulldog quarterback Jimmy Rosel, what a season, what a career for this young man. He led the Bulldogs with 142 rushing yards. He had the walk-off touchdown in double overtime as well, and 125 yards on the ground as well from running back Owen Singleton. So when that Bulldog rushing attack gets going, they're hard to stop, and that was on full display over in Avon Lake this past Friday night. And I also got to shout out Black River's Seth Gaspari. He scored 5 touchdowns in a 47-14 win for the Pirates over Brookside, so a huge night for the Pirates and Seth Gaspari. And Avon stands as the last unbeaten team left in Lorain County. They are now 8-0 after a 49-10 win over Midview. I do want to pass along thoughts and prayers for Midview quarterback Shea Williams. Doesn't look like he'll be able to play again this season after he went down with an injury. I got to see him play once this year in person. Was very, very impressed with his ability to play football. Seems like a tremendous young man, both on and off the field as well. So again, thoughts and prayers to Midview quarterback Shea Williams. Hopefully he's able to make a full, speedy recovery. So that was pretty much the big stories and headlines from Week 8. It was a pretty integral Week 8 in terms of setting up some conference races here down the tail end of the regular season. So let's look at what's coming up here in Week 9. I'll tell you, us at WEOL, our radio and stream 1 game, we'll see us going to North Ridgeville as the Rangers welcome in Avon Lake. Both teams are 4-1 in the SWC, so trying to keep pace with the top of the conference standings there. And North Ridgeville, they're coming off a 42-33 thrilling win over Berea Mid-Park. So can the Rangers keep things rolling, or can Avon Lake bounce back after a heartbreaker to Olmsted Falls this past Friday? Again, Avon Lake at North Ridgeville. That's our radio and stream 1 game. Over on stream 2 in the Lake Erie League, Bedford visits Lorain. The Titans are 3-0 in conference. They can put 1-1 Bedford away in terms of the conference race with a win. Maple Heights also 3-0 in that Lake Erie League. That's who awaits Lorain on the other side of had this Bedford game. So if the Titans can get by Bedford, that could set up a conference championship game essentially next week in Week 10 with Maple Heights. And then finally, actually an exciting one on our Medina County matchup on Stream 3 on WEOL. Rocky River visits Buckeye. Both teams are 7-1 in the new Cleveland West Conference. So the winner of this Rocky River and Buckeye game gets at least a share of that inaugural conference title again in the Cleveland West Conference. So 7-1 Rocky River visits 7-1 Buckeye on our Medina County matchup. And one other contest I want to shout out, or at least point to, Vermilion goes to Edison. This is another huge test for the Sailors. Can they really prove that, they deserve to be at the top of the SBC, or is Edison going to try to put them back in their place, at least in the minds of the Edison Chargers? So that's an important one to keep an eye out on in the Sandusky Bay Conference. So Avon Lake at North Ridgeville, our radio and Stream 1 game. On Stream 2, it's Bedford at Lorain, and then Rocky River visits Buckeye on our Stream 3 Medina County matchup. So there was a quick look back at Week 8, and plenty of action to come here this Friday night in Week 9. So for Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I'm your host, Rocco Nushi, telling you thank you for watching another episode of The Blitz. Enjoy the games this weekend, and we'll talk to you guys next time.